Hi everyone, welcome to December. December is the season for trees, decorating trees. Some of you are probably decorating trees right now. Like while you're watching this, you might be decorating your tree. So I'm going to decorate some trees in my sketchbook. If you would like to join me, go ahead and grab something to draw or paint with. I got lots of stuff out on my desk. If you're curious about anything that I'm using, I do link everything in my description box. And I kind of want to keep it chill. We're gonna keep it kind of chill, a little easy for everybody. You know, Christmas trees can be really hard to sketch or draw, especially if you look up a reference picture and then there's just so much going on you don't know where to start. We're gonna break it down. We're gonna do it 3 different ways. Hopefully it gives you a good idea of how to get working in your sketchbook. It doesn't have to be Christmas trees. It can literally, you can use the same principle for anything, okay? But 'tis the season for Christmas trees. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So the first idea is not to draw the tree at all, okay? And I know that probably sounds a bit strange, right? If you're intimidated by drawing a tree, this is a good one because you're not really drawing the tree. You're going to be drawing like a zoomed in portion of the tree. So you'll start with just ornaments and you can make them as simple or complex as you want. I'm going to start out with just a bunch of circles because we're up close to the tree. Have some going off the page like that. And we'll just kind of lightly color some of these in. Not going to get too involved with it yet because you can always add more details to it later. Maybe get some smaller blue ones stuck in here. Depending on how close you do your view, depends on really how big the ornaments are and how many you can fit on the page. Do what feels right. And I'm going to do the little top piece on these. I'm not really worried about it looking super accurate. Maybe we got some beads going across. So maybe we'll do a couple of circles like this. Don't worry about overlapping stuff because it can be in front or behind. So if you want to go behind that one, we can go behind it. Pick it up right over here. So this is kind of like jumping into the fun part of decorating a tree, which is the ornaments. I'll probably add some water to this. All right, let's dry this real quick. I'm already loving this page and you can leave it just like this if you want. I mean, it kind of looks cool, all the things just kind of hanging in space. But we're going to go ahead and put the branches in there and we're going to do it super messy. Like if you look at a tree and all the needles and everything, they just kind of go every which way. So we're not going to worry about like, oh, we have to have a branch that comes out this way or that way. Don't worry about any of that, okay? Start out with just filling the background with blobs of dark green and light green. So, and if you want to kind of do them spiky, you can. That's probably what I'm going to do. And what I like to do is kind of like a scribbly star shape. So, you know, you have a star that's like that. But if you kind of scribble a star, it's kind of like that, okay? So if you just kind of make a bunch of scribbly stars around. If you start with the darkest ones, that's going to be your shadows. Okay, so the really, really deep sections of the tree. And you can do however much of this you want until you feel like you've done enough. So we got the dark green, and then we'll go on top with a light green, maybe this color. And I'm going to do a little bit of the light around, but I'm going to put water on it and then I'll go back over it with some more. And also don't be afraid if your lines go over your stuff, because then your stuff's going to look like it's deep in the tree. So now I'm going to go over this. I'm gonna start with the darkest color and then I'll mix in some of the light, because we can always go over the dark with more light. Be a little bit easy around these. And you can be as messy or as not messy as you want. I like kind of making stuff a little messy and neat at the same time. Don't forget to let it dry in between layering. If you're using Neocolors or any kind of like water soluble stuff, you need to let it dry so that you can work on top of it. Otherwise, it's not going to want to move around if you work over it when it's wet. So I kind of went over it lightly. I wanted some of these marks to kind of still be there, to look like distant branches. And again, you can leave it just like this. I actually think this looks really good, just like this. But if you want to keep going, I'm going to go back in, and especially like around some of these areas, I'm going to do some more scribbly star things. Especially like right here, it would probably be sitting on something. So a little random one sticking out. And then I think I will go back with some dark and kind of go in behind, like, you know, I did a lot of this, so like kind of just. All right, and I'm gonna actually go back over this one, really make it kind of pop. I'm just going to go back over some of these marks that got lost. I want to add to this one just a little string that maybe hooks to something way up there. And we might add another one here that just kind of like disappears. It's really hard to see that silver, so I'm going to go just right next to it with the dark. All right, and I'm going to leave this one just right there. Obviously, I could keep going, but I think, you know, I had fun with it. It didn't take me very long before, you know, you could tell that it was ornaments in a Christmas tree. And again, you can make this as simple or complex as you want. If you want to add like little figurines stuck in the Christmas tree, or like some icicles on the branches, do a close-up view. Then you don't have to draw a tree and figure out, you know, if it looks like a tree or not. All right, on to the next idea. So for this next one, it's all about the Christmas tree shape. And there's a bunch of different ways you can draw a Christmas tree. You can do just a classic Christmas tree shape like that. Or you can do the one that's a little bit more like that. Maybe a tall, skinny version. Okay. Basically, just however many ways you can think to draw a Christmas tree. You're gonna fill up the page with however many you can come up with. Maybe a little Charlie Brown Christmas tree. Kind of looks like Charlie Brown Christmas tree. In a little pot. Maybe a fat Christmas tree. Maybe it's covered in snow. So you got all these like spots of snow on the branches. That's my kind of Christmas tree. Real chubby Christmas tree. Maybe one that has like kind of turned up like that. And then maybe just like a spiky Christmas tree. I don't know why I made the stump so big on this, but you know. And then now that you have all your Christmas trees, you can decorate all of them in different kinds of ways. I'm actually going to go over mine with some water before I decorate them, because when you're using Neocolors, it's a little bit easier to draw over top when you've added water to them first. And if you want to decorate each one and then move on to another one, you can do that too. I just figured I would get all the shapes done first. I like this little Charlie Brown tree. It's cute. And of course, you know, I did them all green just to save time showing you and explaining, but you can use different colors if you want. Obviously, you can do the trunks brown, you know, brown or gray as they should be. So some of you will have seen my other easy ideas for a sketchbook video a couple of months back, and in that video I did this same kind of idea, but I did it with pears, and I just tried to do as many different versions, shapes of a pear that I could, and then I just kind of went in and colored them in all different, played around with how many different ways you could draw a pear. So it's the same kind of idea, and it just kind of gets you thinking about it in a different way, and you might find, hey, I really like drawing Christmas trees like this as opposed to like this. You could just do all of these trees, you know, in this shape and then decorate each one in a different kind of way. That would be a really fun idea too. Okay, so I finished all the trees in a bunch of different ways. This one's silver and gold, which is pretty cool. I actually started out not liking this one very much, but I'm so glad I did it because it's actually a really cool one. Basic Christmas tree. Started getting a little more fancy. This one's supposed to be kind of like one of those trees that just has like all the flowers stuck in it. That's kind of what I was going for there. Love the little Charlie Brown tree, of course. And I really like this one. This is all those like old-fashioned big chunky lights. That one was a lot of fun. And this one was another one that I wasn't liking at first, but I added like little candles to the edge of the branches, and I think that brings it together, makes it look kind of old school. And then I was like, oh well, what about those old school lights that used to have like the bubbly stuff? You turn them on and they get hot and then they kind of like bubble up. So I tried to kind of do that. This one and this one ended up being like my favorite ones. Really cool. I like different things from each of them. So like if I wanted to do another tree, I would kind of probably pull some ideas from this one and some ideas from this one, and then kind of make an even better version of a different kind of tree. So just kind of experiment with all the different possibilities. Figure out what you like, what you don't like, and you'll probably notice that it gets better as you go because you're having to think that much more about, oh, what could I do different? Guys, what has happened to Moleskine sketchbooks? This is not normal. Look at the massive bump in the middle of my book. Usually these lay completely flat and they don't bleed through. And I've had so many bleed through. Hopefully this exercise doesn't bleed through to here, but that's, you know, it's okay. It's just a sketchbook. But if anyone knows of a good sketchbook, put it in the comments, because I'm definitely in the market for something other than Moleskine since they decided to change their manufacturer. Okay, here we go. This is the last one, and I've done this before, but never with Christmas trees. So we're learning together. For this one, you're going to work on just filling the page full of color. And remember, we are making a tree on this page, so think about that whenever you're putting color down. But don't think too hard about it, because it doesn't really matter that much. You can just kind of do a bunch of randomness. All you really have to worry about is that, you know, you've got Christmassy colors going on. Or if you want your tree to have like a different kind of theme, that's perfectly fine too. And I want every inch of the page is going to be full of color, okay? So in a minute, I'm going to put water on this and kind of spread it out. So far, mine looks like a party, not necessarily a Christmas party. Let's see, what would make this look more Christmassy? Maybe some gold. Only bad thing is my gold doesn't... The Stabilo Woodys don't really blend very well compared to the Neocolors. I might have to go back over with some more gold, depending on what happens. Okay. I think that's pretty well covered. Just realized I don't have any orange in here, but it'll probably, a lot of this will probably mix to make different colors that I didn't even put on. So it's probably okay. Okay, now I'm trying to keep in mind whenever I do this to not completely mix everything together. I still want different little spots with color in them. So I'm going to try to follow one certain color around. But it's okay if they mix. It might make things look more interesting if they mix. You just don't want to blend all of it. You'll just have a muddy mess if you blend all of it together. Okay, we're all dry. I'm going to go over some of these gold places. The Stabilo Woody kind of fades out for some reason when you put the water on it. I'm going to go back over some of these lines too, because I kind of have an idea already to work with some of these lines. If you haven't guessed already, what we're going to do is we're going to go over this and create a tree with ornaments out of all these shapes. So this was also in my Easy Ideas video. At the end, I created this, and you did it the same kind of way, only with this one I did a vase full of flowers. So we're going to do the same kind of idea, but we're going to make a Christmas tree shape and all the little ornaments in the tree. I've only ever done this with like flowers, so hopefully it works. I'm gonna do like black around the Christmas tree, but for the actual inside the Christmas tree, I think I'm gonna use the same colors that I did on this page, some darks and some light greens to cover everything over. So I'm just gonna start following some of these shapes around, and you know, you can always take more away, but you can't add it back necessarily. So we'll make some kind of a tree bottom shape, and I'm already a little bit off with my tree shape, but that's okay. We'll have, let's see, I want to keep this. Okay, so we'll do something like that. Maybe keep that. And this is going to be the top. I'm not going to have a tree topper. Oh my gosh, this is the fattest thing ever. Okay, I'm probably going to take out a lot of this. Bring it in this way. Into here. Like that. That'll make it a little bit smaller. smaller, I think. And then this, I'm gonna go over this with like black. First, I'm gonna grab some of these shapes that I think will make really cool ornament shapes. A couple of big blobs of red so we can make some bigger ones. I think we're starting to get a tree shape for sure. Sadly, I had to lose a lot of the stuff that I wanted to keep. A lot of the bright ones were like way out here. And I was hoping to keep those, but now that we have this shape, I'm gonna actually go over all this part with really dark, just so that we don't get confused, I think. Also, I can add like a floor. So we'll cover all this up. Part of me wishes that I had just done the black and not the green, because now I feel like I kind of got to go over this with all the green, but that's okay. We'll worry about that in a minute. For now, we're keeping it going. I do want to try to give the illusion of like string lights. So I think in order to do that, just kind of, that looks more like an ornament. So let's do more like an egg shape. That'll be the light. And we'll go up here, do it again. Okay, so we got one row here, one row there, and then we'll do another one right through here because it looks pretty well lit. Do that. And I think that's probably good. I might do a couple more random big oblong ones just to have like a different kind of ornament. All right, now for the painful part, which is coloring all this in around the ornaments. And then I think I might go over top of this with a lighter green, just so it stands out from the dark background. Okay, it doesn't look great. It doesn't look great. So I'm gonna go back over with some darker black. Etch out some of this a little bit better. Let's see if we go over with some of this lighter green, if it'll help. I think that's helping. Yeah, I think that's helping a lot better than that. So I'm gonna keep going with it and creating like more of a tree texture underneath. I went a little overboard as far as like the background. If you can see, there's like a huge bump right here. So I wasn't able to even like color inside of there. So I was just taking water and kind of blending it out to where it wasn't so noticeable. And in doing that, I was like, oh, well, maybe I'll just go over the black. And then I hated it. So then I wiped it off. And then I was like, ooh, I wonder if I could kind of do the same thing up here. And I'm so glad I did, because it kind of almost makes this look like some weird like wallpaper. Definitely glad I went back with this, because I really like how this turned out. It looks so cool now. And I would imagine this would be really fun to do with oil pastels. I'm so glad it worked out. I was a little worried there for a minute. Everything was just dark and it was just not working. I love looking at this page. I really want to like look up some Christmas ornaments, some cute little ornament shapes, and like do this again, but do like, you know, a teddy bear ornament or like a merry-go-round ornament, you know, and then a bunch of the balls in there too. Like maybe not do it this close up to where you can get more ornaments on the page. I think that would be really fun. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know if you're going to try any of these. And thank you everyone who left me a like. It really helps out my channel a lot. And a big thanks to all my subscribers, whether you just joined today or you've been here from the start. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, I'll see y'all next time.